You are watching Xirtus.
This is also crazy. Do you remember how we talked about the tulip famine right before COVID quarantine? And what your
Tulip
theory?
famine, that's end World War II.
No, I'm sorry. The tulip hysteria of trading tulips.
Oh, right, yeah.
And
We
you
took
had
that
a
from
theory.
Turkey.
You had a brilliant theory. Well, Turkey again with the Arabic influence. I mean, again, turban tulip. There's a lot to this. But you had said something that I hadn't considered before, and I laughed at it. And now I think you're 100% correct, which is the reason for the tulip famine, or I'm sorry, tulip hysteria. Why the Dutch were trading tulips for such a high value. Do you remember what you said?
Oh, that's a good while ago. I'll probably remember when you say it, but my
So
memory is more visual.
So what you had told me was this idea, like I think you were kind of joking. You're like, I think that the tulip hysteria was kind of a joke. That these guys were serious, but they'd gone pretty much insane because they had been kept inside. They had all this money, they couldn't use it because of this plague going around. And so what they ended up doing is they're like, I bet you those tulips are worth way more money. And then they, as like a almost a drunk bar joke, started like saying those tulips were worth $1 million. Like they just started laughing hysterically as they raised the value of the tulips as they're just sitting in a room like hundreds of thousands, was it tens of thousands of miles away from where these tulips are being produced, right?
First stock exchange in the world, Amsterdam.
Right. So I mean, like that's crazy. So again, that's because the Cordoba Caliphate loses control of Spain, which loses control of the Netherlands, which has the major military source from the Scandinavians that they've controlled, and the Dutch end up creating the Dutch East Indies Company. So they have so much power on their own because they were effectively running this for this nepotistic empire before, and it was a nuisance to them. So the Dutch ended up running it themselves, and all of a sudden they're everywhere. They're everywhere. The Dutch are everywhere in the world, and no one understands this ever. I mean, like the Dutch
A
are in
little bit of this
Chile,
and a little bit of that,
Indonesia.
and a little bit of this and a little bit of that.
It's crazy. There are Dutch in Oregon, Indonesia, Chile. It's hard to really explain. Like Africa. Like think about it. If you go over anywhere in the world, you'll find Dutch everywhere in the world, in the most far-flung places, and all with their own bases and most of the coolest star forts, most of the coolest British bases like New York, Wall Street. These are all Dutch bases. Yeah, it's really weird.
The recurring question, where is the map? Where is the map?
Unavailable. Sorry.
He's fighting off a cold, friends. I want to pretend that he's actually just like taking like loads
I'm
and
not
loads of
fighting off a
polymers.
cold. I'm getting rid of something that has lasted for 4 weeks. That's why I couldn't come on last week.
Oh, that sounds almost worse. Have you talked to your Dutch health supervisors about which vaccine
No.
is right for you? You probably should just get vaccinated in the throat. That'll probably save
Hmm.
your life. It'll probably save your life.
Get this man some honey. Yes, I agree. I should get a spoon of honey. There we go.
Man, do they have the the Pepsi vaccine yet? Is that like a thing? Does PepsiCo make its own?
I
Because
just
like,
recently was tricked into trying it again. And, after not drinking any Coca-Cola for 10 years, it's interesting. But because the question was whether or not you can taste the synonym, that synthetic stuff. Oh, you're trying it now? Can you taste it? That cell line derived, supposedly,
I don't know
ingredient.
what. I'm just like, so when my buddy died, for whatever reason, my mom wanted to buy a bunch of pop, so I bought like a case of Mexican Coca-Cola, and nobody wants them. I didn't want them at the time. I'm like, now I'm like, they're stuck, and I have no water, like until I go buy more water, so I have to drink Coca-Colas. It's like this is the
But the
worst.
Mexican ones.
Oh yeah, of
But they're much
course.
better, no? They don't have, they have
I
a
don't
different type of
believe I
sugar.
don't really believe that like sugarcane is the problem in Coca-Cola. You know what I mean? Like the corn syrup is pretty
I
bad, I'm
can.
sure. But like how many
The
levels of evil are you before you're worried about corn syrup with Coca-Cola, you
I
know?
Also
it,
true.
Sorry.
it's called the Coca-Cola Company for a reason, right?
All right, we're
Yeah.
back at
Pemberton,
that.
John Pemberton, the inventor of the Coca-Cola medicine drink, which was made for headaches and that type of stuff.
Yeah, no, I mean,
made something
absolutely.
called Pemberton Laboratories, which is still a thing today. And Pemberton
Yes.
Laboratories is the only company in the world today that is legally allowed to import cocaine leaves from Colombia.
Yeah. Speaking of the Dutch, right? I mean, for the love of God. Yeah. So this is what's really going on. You go to New Jersey, and the Coca-Cola company through Pemberton Labs import the Coca. They process it into cocaine. In the process of doing this, the syrup that's extracted from this, which has no cocaine anymore, that's brought to the Coca-Cola plant. And the cocaine that's extracted in this process, that's then brought and sold to like dentists, and it's Schedule 2 in the United States. So doctors, dentists, etc., can get their hands on cocaine, right? The
Sí,
military.
señor.
So it's not a problem. It's not a problem. It's not a problem. But they can also then use the excrement, right? They can use the extracted waste, and that has no cocaine in it, but it does have the alkaloids of coca. That's in Coca-Cola. Not that I'm a fan of Coca-Cola. Shame on them.
Nice logo, but whatever.
I do like, yeah, it's weird how it has like a kind of Arabic, it's creepy Arabic logo instead of like the normal sigil. That like it's not like an AOL logo.
You
That's
mean the
kinda
Coca-Cola
interesting.
logo?
Yeah, the Coca-Cola
It's
logo.
true. Yes.
It's really interesting.
There's there's 3 6s hidden in it nicely as well.
But Coca-Cola also, aside from like gunning down natives and stealing their water, they also sell Japanese green tea, and like they bought Odwalla, and so they control all the organic
Yeah, but
beverages.
that's how all of these multi-billion
yeah.
corporations
I
work,
mean,
right? I mean,
that's-
Amazon's owns a this and a that and a such and a such, and Bill Gates owns a this and a that and a such and a such.
Yeah.
You know,
I
one
just don't
company
know. I
owned-
wonder, is Coca-Cola as evil as PepsiCo? PepsiCo's a lot more evil than Coca-Cola, though, right? Like Coca-Cola is just kind of fascistic.
I mean, what is evil on this scale, anyways? You know,
Evil's just live spelled backwards, Michael.
Oh, that's it. It must be that.
Have you heard of a company called Innocent Drinks, Innocent Limited?
Yeah,
They
No.
do
yeah.
like smoothies and stuff.
Smoothies.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
they're also literally owned by Coca-Cola, of course, which is kind of hilarious.
No, yeah. Coca-Cola owns all the Topo Chico is owned by Coca-Cola. My favorite mineral water. Like,
Shit.
I mean, there's a lot of different mineral waters you can get. But I
Even
think,
in
like,
Austria, there's quite a few owned
12,
by
12
Coca-Cola.
of them are owned by Coca-Cola. Yeah, it's crazy.
All the staffers setting history free from Tartaria to the world. In every place in town, the 13th monkey's gonna find them, turn it all around.